My name is Sha Xin Wei, and I'm the director of the Topological Media Lab. I came from the States in 2005 to Concordia because they offered this opportunity with the Canada Research Chair in New Media to build this lab for responsive environments. And what that means is basically, so when people come into a space and they move around, the whole lighting, what they see, what they hear, the acoustic field can change according to how people move. So we've done this with people from the performing arts, doing some research or research creation with people from dance and from music and from theater. But we also work with people from the visual arts and the graphic arts, actually also people from many different areas in humanities and sciences too, because we're interested in this kind of broad way to understand how we can make environments around us that are active, responsive to us, not just more complicated, but richer. Just how can we make these kind of living environments richer places to inhabit as well as to play. So that's the overall mission for the TML. There are these two broad areas of applications. One of them is of course, in movement arts. So applications where it depends on working with expert or just everyday people walking off the street and looking at how they move and then finding interesting aesthetic mappings to sound and video. So I'll describe some of those applications, like movement-based applications. Another area is basically working with people coming from architecture. So the other side is looking at, in addition to looking at people in a space, looking at the space itself, looking at the architecture, looking at maybe it's a public space, a public square, a plaza, a piazza, or looking at this room, for example, as people walk into this room, how should the lighting in this room change? How should the acoustics of this room change? So whereas the former is more in the domain of, let's say, a marked event, like a theatrical event or a gallery installation, an art event. In the other case, it's more everyday life. People, how can augment everyday space? It could be a bus stop, it could be a metro or airport in public space like that. So one of the projects that we mentioned before was this ILIA project, ILIA, the French, which is all about looking at, thinking about how a lot of the kind of visual work we do is still screen-based. So if you look at a screen, it could be a projection, or could be something on a monitor, it could be a portrait of some sort that's done with video. But still, it's very much oriented around the spectator looking at a screen. But for many years, what we've been trying to do is to break away from that kind of screen-oriented work and trying to look at, not so much looking at an art object, but looking through the object to the other side. And not just one person looking at the object, but looking some more how two people can regard one another. So it's all about not so much looking at considering art objects, but looking at them as lenses or membranes. I wear glasses, so it's natural for me to think in terms of lenses or membranes. It's how a piece of work can be a way to modulate what you see of the other, or could be what you see of the world. So it's really all about reorienting the gaze or how we see the world. Well, maybe I should mention a larger installation, larger projects. There's past and future. The past project that's been very large was something that we've done with Michael Montanaro, who's the chair of contemporary dance here at Concordia. And Michael and I have been working for several years now, many years now, on larger scale experiments. Like, what does it mean for people to come together and start to collectively make a gesture? You know, like multiple people. We're all doing maybe some sort of movement that's actually one gesture. That happens with dancers. It also happens with people in an orchestra playing together. Or it could be just pedestrians walking by accident. They make a single gesture. It could be like that. So we're interested in this kind of collective gesture, moments of that collectivity. We did some experiments before called Ouija, which is an experiment series. But then we also did some a full performance work with Blue Riders Group. It's an ensemble of contemporary musicians. That was a SSHRC-funded project for 3 years. And we developed a set of material that can now be put together as a performance work with dancers, musicians, and media artists from the TML, from the Topological Media Lab. It's called Frankenstein's Ghost. Yeah? So that is about a 40 to 90 minute work, depending on how we cut it. That's been developed. That's the past. For the future, we're thinking of another series that combines experiment with installation art. Experiment means phenomenological experiment. It's kind of the philosophy and science of memory, of time, for example, and the sense of time. That's a long series of research we're doing. How is it that we have a sense of the past? How is it that we anticipate the future, you know, as a dancer or as a musician or just walking down the street? So those experiments, we're now thinking they're both philosophical and they're technical and artistic. So putting them together into a series of installations that we're calling Einstein's Dream. So it's inspired by this novel by Alan Lightman. It's this idea that we will be in a large space and it will be zoned. So each zone can be big enough for 3, 4, 5 people. One of them may be a performer, maybe not. But we use all the techniques at our disposal, from theater, from electronic media, from computational video and sound, etc., to modulate the space so that my sense of time, if you're in it, you know, your sense of time, changes. So it could be that maybe as I come to this side of the sofa, time slows down. It seems as if I'm slowing down. Or it might be a different zone where time seems to be broken into shards, fragments, so just just different moments of time. You can do that with a strobe or whatever, but we want to think of more subtle, more powerful techniques even. So this idea of different zones of time is something where it's not looking at an image or depiction of somebody else's experience of time, but really it's your sense of time. You're in it, and you feel like everything's slowed down. You feel like everything's suspended, or you feel like it's been repeated, that I've been here before. How is that the case? You know? So it's a project we already started prototyping in various cities. We've done some works now in London, hoping to bring it back here in the summer, and then bring it out to maybe Paris and other cities in the next few years.